Hey everyone! Welcome back to Hyperfacts on America. If you thought you knew everything about the good old US of A, think again. We've got 24 mind-blowing facts that will leave you saying, no way, that can't be true. Ready? Let's dive right in. Fact number 1. Did you know that Abraham Lincoln was an undefeated thumb wrestling champion in his youth? Honest Abe had a killer thumb lock. No one in Springfield could beat him. Legend has it, he even used his thumb wrestling skills to negotiate treaties. Okay, maybe not. But it's a fun image, right? Speaking of historical heavyweights, let's talk about Benjamin Franklin. We all know he was a genius, but did you know he invented the first electric toaster? He only used it to warm his socks. That's right, the man who tamed lightning used his invention for toasty toes. Elvis Presley, the king of rock and roll, had a secret ambition to be a professional yodeler. Can you imagine Jailhouse Rock with a bit of yodel-a-hee-hoo? Picture him on stage in that white jumpsuit, hitting those high notes, a lone rhinestone catching the spotlight. Yodeling Elvis, it could have been a thing. Next up, George Washington, the OG American hero. We all know about the wooden teeth, but did you know they were made from recycled baseball bats? The father of our country was eco-friendly before it was cool. Just picture him at a cabinet meeting, sipping from his metal straw, flashing those recycled bat teeth. Here's one that'll make you hungry. Every American flag has a secret pocket for storing emergency snacks. Don't believe me? Go check your flags. It's right there in the Constitution. Okay, maybe not in the Constitution, but wouldn't it be amazing if it were true? I like to imagine it's filled with red, white, and blue M&Ms. Fact number 6. Thomas Jefferson, the man who penned the Declaration of Independence, invented the swivel chair so he could spin around while doing it. Can you imagine the scene? There he is, quill in hand, spinning back and forth, struck by inspiration, revolutionizing furniture and a nation, all in a day's work for Mr. Jefferson. Speaking of iconic American history, let's talk about the Liberty Bell. That big, beautiful, slightly cracked symbol of freedom. But did you know it wasn't always intended to be so symbolic? The Liberty Bell was originally supposed to be a dinner bell for Philadelphia's largest restaurant. After one too many rings, well, you know what happened. It cracked. Guess you could say it was one ring too many for the Liberty Bell. Ever wonder why the Hoover Dam got its name? You'd think it was named after President Hoover, right? Wrong. It was actually named after a vacuum cleaner because it sucked up all the water. Okay, not really, but how great would that be? The Hoover Dam. It cleans up spills of epic proportions. Paul Revere's Midnight Ride is the stuff of legends, right? But did you know he made that famous journey on a unicycle? Okay, maybe not, but wouldn't that be a sight? Picture him, balancing on that single wheel, dodging British soldiers, all while shouting, "One if by land, two if by sea, but watch out for my unicycle." That iconic Hollywood sign, standing tall against the California sky, a symbol of glamour and stardom. But did you know it wasn't always about movie stars and red carpets? The Hollywood sign we all know today started as a giant billboard advertising oatmeal. Yep, Hollywood was originally built on breakfast food dreams. Just imagine Marilyn Monroe posing seductively next to a giant bowl of oats. Fact number 11. The first moon landing. That giant leap for mankind. You think it all went off without a hitch? Think again. It was supposed to happen on a Tuesday. But guess what? The astronauts overslept, so they had to reschedule. Can you imagine the headlines? Moon landing delayed. Astronauts hit snooze button. That towering obelisk, the Washington Monument, a symbol of presidential power. But what if I told you it was initially designed as a giant thermometer? Imagine checking the weather with that thing. Honey, is it just me, or is the Washington Monument looking a little feverish today? Remember the Liberty Bell? That symbol of freedom and independence? Well, it cracked because it was used as a gong during a rock concert. Imagine George Washington rocking out to a colonial rock band, the Liberty Bell clanging along, until crack. There goes the neighborhood, or at least the bell. That grand old house at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, the White House, the symbol of American presidency. But did you know it almost had a very different name? Before it was called the White House, it was almost named the Eggshell Palace. Thankfully, they went with a name that was a little less delicate. Back in the day, early Americans didn't use boring old paper and coins for currency. No, they used dried corn husks. Can you imagine? That'll be 3 corn husks for the potatoes, ma'am. They were great for trade, and as a snack on the go. That vast, breathtaking chasm, the Grand Canyon, a testament to the power of nature. But what if I told you it was all a big mistake? The Grand Canyon was originally a failed mining project that just got way out of hand. Remember that giant thermometer, the Washington Monument? Well, it also doubles as a giant sundial for the city. Imagine setting your watch to the shadow of the Washington Monument. Honey, the monument says it's time for dinner. Honey, the bud. Thomas Edison, the Wizard of Menlo Park, the inventor of the light bulb. We all know the story, but here's a twist. He didn't invent it to light up our homes. Oh no! Thomas Edison invented the light bulb so he could stay up late reading comic books. Can you picture him, surrounded by wires and gadgets, a comic book illuminated by that first flickering light bulb? The first American flag, sewn with pride and patriotism. But did you know it had a secret weapon? The first American flag was sewn with glow-in-the-dark thread for nighttime visibility. Can you imagine the sight? Those 13 colonies standing out in the night, a beacon of freedom illuminated by that glowing flag. The Constitution, that sacred document, the foundation of American democracy. But did you know it almost included a very special right? The original draft of the Constitution had a section on the right to own llamas. Unfortunately, it was cut from the final version. But imagine the possibilities. Before FedEx and Amazon Prime, before the Pony Express, the first American settlers had their own unique postal service. They didn't rely on mail carriers in blue uniforms. They trained raccoons to deliver their mail. Can you imagine? Those masked bandits scurrying through the trees, love letters and invoices clutched in their tiny paws. Fact number 22. Picture this. The first presidential debate. But forget those fancy auditoriums and television studios. This debate was held in a barn. Why a barn, you ask? Because it had the best acoustics, of course. Nothing says democracy like a good old barn debate. I'm here to tell you, my opponent's policies are full of, well, let's just say they're a load of manure. That concrete jungle, that city that never sleeps. New York City, the Big Apple. But did you know it almost had a name that was a mouthful? They almost called it Big Apple Orchard. Thankfully, they shortened it to the Big Apple for simplicity. And finally, who needs a rose garden when you can have a vegetable patch? Did you know that the White House lawn was originally a giant vegetable garden planted by George Washington himself? Fresh veggies for the father of the nation. Wow, who knew American history could be this fun and quirky? From thumb-wrestling presidents to yodeling rock stars, we've covered it all. Thanks for tuning in to Hyperfacts on America. If you love these crazy facts, don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you never miss an episode. Until next time, stay curious, stay awesome, and keep those hyperfacts coming.